Smoke alarms are by far the most effective way to get your family out safely when there's a fire.
Fire Tip Tuesday.
Fire Tip Tuesday.
It is Fire Tip Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to another. It's an excellent joke, right? I was laughing in my mouth. Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Fire Tip Tuesdays. Here with the guys, myself, Tyson, Jay. We're all here today. We're gonna talk today about
Smoke alarms.
smoke alarms.
Okay. You want to introduce smoke alarms?
Sure. Okay, so obviously most of you, if not all of you, have seen and or heard one of these before. This one actually chirps, I think, if you put the battery in. But so these are very, very important, specifically for residential use. So in your homes, really, really important. So for us, what we're going to talk today is about what types they are, how they can help you, where you put them. We'll try to make it brief and quick and informational.
Yeah.
But like I said, the most important thing for us in fire prevention about the smoke alarms is the ability for you and your family to get out of the house safely if there is an incident. And we want to have early notification. So with that being said, let's go into
Smoke alarms.
what they are and their primary function. Yeah.
So, basic debrief. We can talk about a smoke alarm. There's 3 different types. You know, we can go super in depth, but we're not. We just go super bland for everyone else.
Yeah,
So,
we're not
you got 3 types: ionization type, a photoelectric, and a dual sensor. So what that means when it talks about ionization, when you see on this, if it says ionization sensors, it's meant for open flame type fires. So if you have like the newer houses now, they have gas stoves, right?
Right.
Open flames, it just detects it faster with ionization sensors. Your photoelectric sensors are made for slow burning fires. So like a lot of you smoke one cigarette on your couch.
Yeah, more
right?
particle based.
Slow. So smoke tends to go first. It detects it faster. So it's kind of dependent on the situation or where you're gonna put these smoke alarms.
Right.
So 3 different types. Important to know. We broke it down. So on this one, a lot of them at your Home Depot HPM will have what we notice is an identification on the back. It's either ionization sensor or photoelectric. It's an I or a P. And on the front, in the right corner, you'll see like an I, and that just means ionization. So this is an ionization.
Ionization. Yes.
So you got those. So we noticed these ones go for about a 3-pack. They go about $30 to $55 for a 3-pack. Around the same for both single type. The dual ones, they jump up about $30 more if you want to get the duals, which are pretty useful to have for detection. And there's also duals plus the CO monitor, right?
Right.
Yeah. And these are just battery ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have hardwired and they have battery.
Most new homes they have to have, right?
So
the new code.
yeah. So in the residential code, a lot of the newer homes, you'll see it, right? You guys have one smoke alarm, it goes off, your entire house starts going off. And that's because within the code, it was designed that if one goes off in an area, they all go off so that everybody in the structure knows there's an issue, right? There's something going on. So with the older homes, specifically, all of these plantation homes, Hicks Styles home, those weren't the code at the time.
Yeah.
So because those weren't the code at the time, a lot of people have a single one and that'll go off. So it's really important to know the difference and what you have in your home, because that also changes how you maintain them and work with them.
Okay, so that's 3 different types.
3 different types.
Installation and placement.
Yeah.
Installation and placement. It's important to have it in every sleeping area and outside the sleeping areas. So when installing smoke alarms, it's crucial to place them on every level of the home, beside bedrooms, and outside sleeping areas. So like in a typical residential home, every bedroom is going to have one. Also every hallway, living room, and it's going to be placed at the highest point.
Yeah.
Because
so highest point, what we mean with highest point, it means on the ceiling pretty much.
On the ceiling, yeah.
A lot of homes, they put it on their side of the wall or anything. But my house, when I first bought them, they had them like right middle of the
Yeah, so
the
then
wall.
the smoke
Yeah.
will build from all the way down to set it off, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to get
People
it
don't know
as
fire
early as
when the
possible.
smoke comes down, it comes on, it builds at the top, then comes down,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Forming the layers.
That's the reason for the highest point.
Yeah, that's why I put it at the highest.
And then usually it's placed like in the bedrooms, it's placed like right inside the door.
Yeah.
On the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Installation is pretty simple, yeah.
yeah, well,
they get drywall screws in there. I mean,
Yeah.
each front stud.
you pay, especially the battery ones, it's super easy. They can place them anywhere, right?
Right.
Yeah,
The hardwired is, of course, is like the electrician isn't gonna do it.
Yeah,
right?
they have boxes and
And then the hardwired ones have it's hardwired, and then it's also battery backup,
Right.
for emergency power. Additionally, they should be installed on the ceiling or high on the wall. We went over that, and then away from corners and vents, and to ensure optimal coverage of to warn you.
One of the most interesting installations happens when people put them in their kitchen.
Oh,
And that is not necessary. You don't need it in the kitchen typically because when you're in the kitchen and you're doing things,
smoke.
you wouldn't need to know. I mean, something that's going to start there, you're going to be typically there, right? The stove or whatever it is.
yeah.
So we'll see people that they'll have a bracket on their ceiling in the kitchen, and then you ask them like, "Oh, what happened?" And, oh yeah, every time I would fry fish, the thing would go off. Humbug that thing, and they would take it off, right? So I think it's just important to know to put it in places that typically it's the most important because when you're sleeping or you're napping, whatever it is, those are the times where you really need to get that high alert quick. And so putting in your kitchen.
So a lot of us have
good.
like from my house, I have a 1056 in the front house, right? So my living room is pretty much the same in the kitchen, right? So I put it actually closer to our living room, but it's still within the kitchen area.
Right.
But I mean, if we smoke out the whole place, grilling something, or whatever,
it's
gonna go off, right?
Yeah.
So that's something just to consider.
Yeah. So it's just where you put it.
That's
Put it
a
where
common.
Yeah, the thing always goes off. Open all the windows.
Open the windows, turn the
Okay,
fan.
maintenance and testing.
Yeah, maintenance. Oh my gosh. Okay. Number one thing is most smoke alarms are white plastic. If yours has turned yellow, throw it away. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's not even worth testing or attempting to maintain it because we have a 10-year life on these. So testing is very easy. Most of them have a single button or dual button on them. Most of them have a single. And what we recommend is placement on the ceilings this way. And one of the reasons why is for testing purposes, because if you mount it, let's say on the area above your doorway and it's like this, you have to reach up and actually hit it. So you can hear this chirping, but you have to reach up and hold it to test it. And so if it's on the ceiling, especially for, some of the elderly or like my wife who's short, it's like she can't reach that. But, so it's easy to use a broomstick or something to test it. You want to test it typically at least every quarter. Some of these actually say test them weekly. We know that's pretty unrealistic.
Yeah.
So at least once a quarter, make sure you test them, make sure everything's working properly.
Majority of these have a 10-year lifespan, with the batteries.
Yeah,
built-in batteries are not around there.
Yeah, so they'll say they have a 10-year lifespan,
Right.
but if you read deep in these little instruction things that come in here, they'll say humidity and heat tend to wear them down. So in Hawaii, you're about 5 to 7, realistically.
Normally on these, when you spin it off the top, there's you can write your date of when you install it. And
on the
you
back
can
of
kind
here,
of dictate, around that 6 to 8 years, you really got to think about if you got to change it or not.
Yeah. And then a lot of them, when he's talking about maintenance, the big one is batteries because a lot of them don't have these 9-volt batteries anymore. A lot of them are integrated
Built
in the
right?
piece.
So you got to throw it away.
So you got to take it out. And I've told numerous people this. They're like, what do I do? Because I hit the little button and it's not stopping. I just say smash it with a hammer and dislodge it, get rid of it. Because what happens is it'll keep beeping in your trash can for 3 days.
Chirping
Or
so much houses. We get called for emergencies because, my neighbor's smoke alarms are chirping.
Right.
It just means the battery is low.
Yeah.
So there's different chirps for different cold
functions.
I wonder if we can test this. Can we test this out?
Just this one.
I don't know. Is it
It's
going
an
to work?
older one, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
It might,
it's the one-
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
so
we take-
Simple test.
and that's basically what happens when you hold the test function. It's going to go off. So I also recommend if you're sensitive to hearing, put in earplugs or whatever to make sure. But that's the sound, right? So a simple beep is going to be you got to maintain it, check the battery levels, that type of thing. When it goes off, like we just tested.
It always goes off in the middle of the night.
Dude, you know what we should do? We should totally walk around the office and then just set this thing off. Like you should just follow. Like we should just go down the hall and see if anybody knows.
See if everybody-
Yeah, see what happens in the office. Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
So benefits of smoke alarms.
Your life, your family's life.
Yeah.
It's an early warning system.
Yeah.
Early warning.
That's what it's
Everyone doesn't
Yeah.
have,
efficient appliance.
on this state, we was talking about it. A lot of people don't have sprinkler systems,
Yeah.
residential, right?
Yeah.
It's not required.
Some kind of detection would be better than nothing.
Yes,
Right?
of course.
Yeah.
Especially like if you get like on 2-story house, right? Like if it's not all hardwired together, like
Yeah.
like how would you even know if you didn't have smoke
Right.
alarms? Like you wouldn't know there was a fire until it was like late. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
if it started downstairs or started upstairs, you're in the opposite
Right. Right.
levels. It's like
Right.
So it's important, especially if you have 2 stories, like
Right. Or larger. Yeah.
or like yeah.
Yeah.
It's cost effective, yeah. Like was a 3-pack of these for a single sensor is like $40.
Yeah. 40, 50.
That $40 could save someone's
I mean,
kid's life,
yeah.
It's
right?
gonna last 5
Yeah.
7 years. Now
Yeah.
you gotta replace them.
Yeah,
Right.
something for your house.
And then the other thing is too, which is super interesting, is you don't realize that early detection could even save your house.
Yeah, right.
Right. You know what I mean? So people don't realize, like me knowing earlier, me being able to call 911, get my family out safe, and
Maybe
get the
you
fire
could have
department
used
there earlier.
you could have used a fire blanket, or we'll talk
Yeah.
about fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Maybe if you
Yeah.
have one of those, you could put it out.
Because it could have gone off. It's a small smoldering fire on your couch or something. Let's say, somebody was tinkering or smoking or something. You
Yeah.
could have just put it out yourself and cleaned up, you know what I mean? Versus watching your house, basically burn to the ground. So,
and then you gotta live with someone else. Or nowadays,
Right.
houses are so expensive.
right.
What else we can talk about?
Yeah.
So some benefits: smoke alarms, introduction to carbon monoxide alarms.
Ooh, wait. Benefits of smoke alarm. Can we say one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed we've done enough fire investigations because that's also what we do. One of the main things that gets put into the report whether you had working smoke alarms or not, and that's one of the things that the insurance guys say. They look at our report and say, "Oh yeah, these guys didn't have smoke alarms." They have the right to deny your claim because technically you're supposed to have them in your house. So that's just something to be thought of. You don't want to be in a bad situation where the private investigators, we're coming, we're public investigators, but they also have private guys. They come in, oh yeah, I don't see any working alarms here. So, you don't want to be put in that situation either. The worst time of your life, and now you can't get, insured and squared away. So,
One common statistic is that people die from smoke itself rather than the fire.
Yep.
So, right, carbon monoxide is the killer, actually.
Yep.
It's not fire, it's
Yep.
actually carbon monoxide.
Yep.
So when you're sleeping, you kind of detect carbon monoxide, right?
Yep.
It's odorless. You kind of tell.
I gotta see it.
Yeah.
yeah, can't see,
So
can't
most
smell
people
it.
pass out from carbon monoxide
Right.
and end up dying in the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a few fatalities where people are actually trying to get somewhere. So
Yeah.
we'll find them like in the hallway or like next
Or
to their bed or something.
We had
trying
one
to,
that
like, crawl
was
away.
we had one that was sleeping, right?
Right.
We had one
Right.
sleeping.
Right.
And they didn't know because they didn't have
Right.
or sensor.
And the fire was like on the opposite side of the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So,
we see it
Okay,
because
yeah.
we have to do fire investigation.
Right,
It's,
right.
It changes your attitude towards a lot of
Yeah,
these
having
detection
these things.
systems. Yeah, definitely.
yes.
Jay, you want to talk about carbon monoxide alarms? That's something that it's integrated with smoke alarms, but
Yeah, so basically, like carbon monoxide is gonna be produced from like fuel burning. Something gotta be burning fuel, right? Because
Right.
carbon, right?
Right.
So fuel burning appliances such as furnaces, like stoves,
Mm.
water heaters, gas water heaters, propane. You know what I mean?
you want to give it an example about that fatality? We kind of talked a lot about it, but
I wasn't there. I just heard from
With the carbon
kind of like
monoxide,
everybody
right?
kind of heard the call, right?
Right.
I think it was because of their pool exhaust system,
Right.
The one in
blind into their
Yeah.
on the west side.
Yeah.
Say where, but I mean, yeah, the thing was going. The exhaust was going back into the house.
and the house was all AC, right, or something like that.
Was probably they
Yeah.
never air them
Yeah.
out. It's
Yeah.
probably AC. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
sure it was.
So they ended up getting carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't know.
Yeah.
and they're there in like a couple of days. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Not knowing that the thing was leaking back into their house.
Yeah.
And had they had one CO monitor, like, they would have been able to tell.
Right. And the other thing is too is, especially here on the east side, there are tons of people who all their appliances are gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like your water heater, your things, they're all gas, right? So it's just something
It's
to
somewhere
think
in the
about.
garage or
Right.
in the house. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, you got to watch nowadays.
Right.
With smoke alarms too, that's what I wanted to bring up. You never know with lithium-ion batteries. You know,
Okay.
we'll talk about that in a different Fire Tip Tuesdays,
Right.
but you could be charging a lot of lithium-ion
Right.
batteries nowadays. Your phone, mopeds, your scooters,
Yeah.
you know, in the garage
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that.
We've had a bunch of those.
And you wouldn't even know. The thing is so quiet when
Right.
when it does, you know,
Right.
off gas and start to catch fire that you
Yeah.
wouldn't even know unless you had a smoke detector, right?
And we'll go back to that point when we're there, but yeah.
Do they, you know, for like because I know much solar, but do
Right.
they have a requirement to put like a heat or smoke alarm above the? I guess it would be more of a heat above the.
Like the inverter or
Batteries.
whatever.
Yeah, you know.
I'm
they
not.
install
You know,
I
I'm
haven't
not.
seen that.
I'm not sure. I don't know
It's
if that's a
residential,
thing.
that's why.
It's residential, so
Yeah.
we don't do residential inspections for the most part. So that's not something that happens. But
Yeah.
I don't know the code for that. But I would think, you know, given some of the other things, I mean, we've seen some pretty cool inventions, and they have different ways of putting out, you know, fires. So, you know, different extinguishing systems and stuff that they're not going to have your residences. So something like this may alert you. For instance, we have a friend who has his Tesla battery in his enclosed garage. So, you know, if there's no detector in there, that thing starts going off. I mean, the door to the you know garage is closed. Your entire garage is burning down, and you have no idea, right?
So it's dispersed within that battery so
Right.
fast, and it's
Right.
just psh, and
Right.
catches fire.
We'll talk about those. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's going to be another Fire Tip Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because they do have heat sensors and stuff.
Right.
Something you can put,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's
so
true.
like in the commercial like kitchens, right?
Right.
Instead of putting smoke alarms,
Right.
Because the steam will set it
Yeah.
out, they put heat.
They put high heat stuff. Yeah. So pretty cool.
Oh, would you rate this? I rate
The
this.
importance.
Yeah.
500 out of 10.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a guaranteed
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know,
Every house
Yeah.
should have
cost effective, low maintenance. I
Oh,
would say
yeah.
it's super low maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people with older houses, you should get
Right.
this. So we do get these calls all the time.
Yes,
People
we do.
talk about
Yes, we do.
your smoke alarm. We had a program that was running.
Yeah.
You know, eventually sometime in the near future, we'll get it going again.
Yeah. We're hoping to.
Unfortunately, yeah. But what can people do if their smoke alarm is defective, if they're
So-
elderly or
Yeah. So one of the calls we get constantly, right, is my smoke alarms are going off. Can you guys take care of this? We don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not something that we do here in prevention. The fire department is not going to come to your house to turn off your smoke alarm for you. That's not one of our functions. That's not one of the work demands that we do. And honestly, so the best thing to do is have neighbors, you know, friends,
Handyman.
kids, handyman available, someone who does stuff for you. Make sure they have the proper things, specifically in a lot of older homes, because, you know, we're starting to see it now, right? A lot of elderly people live in these big homes that they had when they had kids and whatever. And now they're by themselves, and now there's some smoke alarm that's 25 feet up in the air because they wanted vaulted ceilings.
yeah.
And it's beautiful to have vaulted ceilings, and now you got this detector that can't even get to, right? So, you know, it's important to have some sort of plan, you know, if these things do go off and start causing issues, to have somebody go through and have that plan early, because it's very frustrating when the things are going off and making noise and beeping and chirping to attempt to make phone calls and find somebody. So,
Yeah.
you know,
3:00 in the morning.
yep.
You know, when I was at high, that'd be the call.
Yep.
See, here's my smoke alarm. It's chirping or it's going off.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially for the ones that are daisy chained, right? The interconnected ones.
Hmm.
Yeah. We're not going to know. We're not going to know which one it is.
Smoke alarms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
10,
pretty much
500 out of
where we're at.
10.
So
Yeah.
get yourself a smoke alarm. You know, this $30 could save your life one day.
Yes. Your house, your livelihood, everything. Yeah.
Good topic.
Yeah. Great
See
topic.
you next week on Fire Tip Tuesdays.
Fire to Tuesdays.
It's Tuesday.
AJ, what kind of shoes do ninjas wear?
What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? Huh. I don't know what kind of shoes. Just
Sneakers.